Okay, we're on Terumot, Perek Zayin, and Mishnah Zayin. Last Mishnah in the 7th chapter of Terumot. We're going to continue. We're actually going to conclude our discussion of what happens if somebody has two kupot and he doesn't know which is Terumah and which is Chulin. So says the Mishnah, if I have these two kupot, Zara echet chad mehen, patur. Let's say I planted one of them, and I don't know whether I planted Chulin or Terumah. Okay, now we have to understand that there's a rule in Perek Tet, Mishnah Aleph, Hazorea Terumah. Let's say I plant Terumah, shogeg, if I do have an accident, yofach. I have to uproot all the plants that I planted, because otherwise I have to make sure that they don't grow, and then it's not considered Terumah. When we get to Perek Tet, we'll learn the rest of it. But that's a basic halacha. So if you have these two kupot, you planted one of them, then patur, okay, and then you're a patur because you can assume. Remember, we said the idea of tolin. We assume that the one that you used for the heter use was the heter. And then using the second one is Terumah. This is a continuation of the Mishnah. We've learned the two Mishnah before. And the second one, we have to assume that might not be Terumah, and therefore he has chayav and chala, because if it's chulin and chayav and chala, divrei Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yossi poter, just like we learned before, Rabbi Yossi says, no, it's not chulin. We don't assume it's chulin. We assume it's meduma. It's Safek Terumah, and therefore it's patur, because meduma is not obligated in chala. Zara acheret hashniya. Similarly, just like we learned before, let's say you eat one, somebody else eats the other one. Now somebody else plants the second kupa, the second bundle of what you planted one, you assume was chulin. Now somebody plants the other one. Again, patur, because he assumes that he is the one that planted chulin as well. But zara echat et shtehem. Now I planted both of them. So remember, we learned before, if one person eats both of them, or both of them, let's say that was Mishnah Hey. Okay, achal echad et shtehem. Then you have to assume that you planted Terumah. So in this case, zara echad et shtehem, you planted both of them. So therefore, now we get to another issue. So there's something called the davar zizro'o kala. That's in Perek Tet Mishnah Dalit. Okay, gedulei Terumah. Okay, if they grow, so they are Terumah. So here in our case, if you planted both of them, so there's different kinds of plants. So let's say if I plant wheat, when I plant the wheat, the sprout grows, but the seed is gone. It disintegrates. It rots into the ground. But there are other times where it's davar she'ein zaro eina kala. Like for example, onions. I plant an onion. The original onion remains. So the Mishnah says, "V'davar she'zaro kala." If it's zaro kala, then mutar. Then the plants are mutar. U'v'davar she'ein zaro kala. But if the original thing that you planted does not disintegrate and does not rot into the ground, then asur. Okay, why? B'davar she'zaro kala, like chitim and seorim, mutar lizarim. A non-Kohen can eat it. De'enzo Terumah vadai. It's not definitely Terumah. Each one is a Safek. V'chashvin le kegidulei meduma. It's like something that was grown from meduma, which we learn in Mishnah Dalid. Gidulei meduma. Here's meduma. Okay, it's considered chulin. So that's what the Terumah says. We're back in Mishnah, Perek Zayin, Mishnah Zayin. I'm sorry for floating around too much. Chashvin le kedumei duma. Okay, and we'll learn later on that that's chulin. But davar she'ein zara kalei, like shum, garlic, ubisalim, onion, asur. Avagab dechashvin le meduma, even though it's meduma and not shuma. But davar she'ein zara kalei, yesh lachmir trei. We're more machmir if the original thing that you planted, the vegetable that you planted, remains in the ground and it grows around it. Then it's asur. Then it's considered like meduma, and it's asur, and you have to be machmir. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, feel free to contact me at rswalter@gmail.com. And we'll dedicate learning to the memory of my father, Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.